What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois. And back in April, they opened up a brand new Titanic exhibit. So I'm coming here today to check it out, and I'm going to bring you with me. So we'll go in, we'll see what this Titanic exhibit has to offer. Let's go. Now, as we go in, I think they have things here from the actual Titanic as well as from the film. So we'll walk around and see what things look like. Now, one of the first things you see when you come in here, this is a 1908 Ford. So these are kind of examples of cars people probably were driving around about the time the Titanic happened, especially some of the higher class passengers that would have had a little bit more money. Now this over here is a 1907 Victorious Premier. Now this was a very fast car for the time, and this was a very luxurious automobile. So you definitely, if you owned one of these, you were probably in the upper crust. There's not very many of these still around, so this is pretty cool to see. Now, as you guys can see, there's different Titanic artifacts on the walls. There's advertisements for the ship. And there's also these costumes right here, which were some of the types of clothes that they would have worn back in the day. Now, these are definitely clothes that would have probably been on some more first-class passengers. And up here, Titanic fashion, 1912. Women traveling first class in Titanic would be changing clothes up to 4 times a day. It's a pretty fascinating look back into history. Now over here we have another very vintage vehicle, and these are in fantastic shape for the age, so it's really cool to be able to see these. Now this right here is a 1911 Carter. Now I'm not a huge car guy, and I'm not really familiar with Carters, so if you guys know anything about these, please leave a comment in this video. But I mean, this is a pretty classy automobile, and I'd certainly drive one if I had the opportunity. But just the vintage cars in this exhibit alone is well worth the attraction, because a lot of these cars I've never heard of, let alone being able to see. Now, if you guys can see this right here, this is a 1908 Ford, one of the original Model Ts. And then over here we have a couple more outfits and some of the luggage that was used back in the early 1900s. Now this is one of those kind of classic cars that you'd think of when you think of first class passengers and people that may have had drivers back then. I mean, these are just really, really cool. I can't state that enough. Now, and I'd hate to think of what these cars are actually worth, because most of these, I can't imagine there'd be many of them out there, let alone ones in this good a condition. A 1906 Pugiot? Hopefully I'm saying that right. I kind of doubt I am. But that's pretty cool. These are some beautiful automobiles. And just over here we have, now this is a little bit of Titanic history. These are similar costumes to what they wore in the film Titanic. And this is the doomed French luxury car that I'm going to show you right here in a second. It says, when Titanic sank April 15th, 1912, she took with her a 1912 Renault Type CB town car, the only car listed on Titanic's manifest. It was owned by 36-year-old millionaire first-class passenger William Carter and his wife Lucille. They both survived. The 1912 Renault luxury town car is the only other exact car known in the world. Now, this is a one-of-a-kind car right over here. And if you guys remember this scene right here in Titanic, they were in this car. Now, I believe they made a reproduction of this car for the movie, but this is the actual car, the one and only existing car of this still. So if you see this, you obviously probably remember that scene. It was a very famous scene. But yeah, this is a one-of-one automobile. And just the fact that one of these actually went down with the Titanic, this is a pretty historic thing. And if you guys wonder if everything in this exhibit is cars, no, there's other things that I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes. And after we get out of this exhibit, I'm going to show you a couple other things in the museum too, because there's a lot of things that I didn't show you on the last tour, and there's still a lot of really cool stuff to show you guys. So yeah, let's just keep moving through here. Now, a big thing on Titanic was the Heart of the Ocean necklace. Now, it's said that this is kind of meant to reflect the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond was owned at the time by a woman named Evelyn McLean. And if you guys want to take a read at this, go ahead and hit pause. But the woman who owned the Hope Diamond was not actually on board the Titanic. But this was a car that was owned by her. A 1912 Delaunay Belleville. Now, this was owned by the owner of the Hope Diamond. Pretty fascinating. Now, there's a lot of different things to read and check out in here. You could spend a decent amount of time in here, and if there's anything you want to take a look at, go ahead and pause it and read up on it. Now, this is labeled Wallace Hartley's violin. If you guys remember in the film Titanic and what actually happened on the Titanic, the band stayed and played to try to calm the passengers. This is the same exact type of violin that Wallace Hartley would have played on the Titanic. Obviously not the exact same one because that went down with the ship, but this is pretty much the exact same type of violin that he would have played. And a few more costumes here. And this is a recreation of Captain Smith's outfit. Now, there's a lot of Titanic exhibits out there. Many of them are very similar because a lot of them have actual artifacts from the Titanic. But this one's very different. It shows a lot of other things. It shows interesting things related to the Titanic. It shows this recreation of the captain's cabin. There's just a lot of really cool stuff here. I really, really recommend it. There's a couple other things on the other side of the wall here, too, that I need to show you. Here is a Steinway grand piano. And a lot of the stuff here you actually can play. They sell tokens here, and you can play the different pianos and things like that. They don't have tokens available on this part. I believe it's on the other side of the museum, but I'll try to play at least something for you guys. Now, here's examples of some of the dinnerware that would have been in the different classes on the Titanic. Now, this is third-class dining right here. Now, if you notice it says Quiet Zone in here, I actually filmed this, and I'm doing voiceover as to not talk and disturb other people in this. Now, here's a little test. It says the water was 28 degrees when Titanic sank. How long can you keep your finger in 28-degree water? They have 28-degree water right here, and it is freezing. If you had your whole body submerged in here, you probably would not last very long. Now we've made it through the Titanic exhibit, and we're going to check out a couple other things. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. This is the pizza parlor here at Volo Auto Museum. They have a lot of things suspended from the walls. This is one of the coolest things I can find. If you guys are fans of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you might remember this bike. This is one of 15 screen-used bikes that was used by Pee-wee Herman in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Now, since we just lost Paul Rubens a few weeks back, this is kind of a legendary piece right here. That, I mean, actually being a screen-used bike from, in my opinion, one of the best movies from my childhood. I love Pee-wee Herman and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. As you can see, it's signed right here. But yeah, they have this suspended in the pizza parlor right here at Volo Auto Museum. And how about this? A piano that plays itself, and it's a piano car. Now it says that this was made as a tribute for a Legends tour for Elton John. Now the big question is, would you drive this? I know I would. Do you guys remember these? Now when I was a kid, they used to have these at the zoo, and you could get anything from elephants to giraffes to bears, everything else. Here, they have Disney characters. They have Donald Duck in this one, if you can see it. If you can't, there's Disney characters in here actually making your wax figure. This one has Goofy, and the one over here has Mickey. Now these are really, really cool. Now I had one made in Jurassic area, and I ended up giving it away to somebody. But yeah, these are just really cool. It's a nice blast from the past. And we just happened to run into a couple of characters. Can't walk by these guys without showing you. A lot of this stuff is kind of like reliving childhood. Now before we take off, I should also say that not only is this an auto museum, but this is also a classic car sales and showroom. You can buy some of your dream cars here, like this is a 1965 Ford Mustang GT for $97,998. Now there are many, many, many showrooms here, and there are so many cars here you can't possibly see them all in one day. But let me just show you what my favorite one is here. This right here. This car costs many, many, many more times than my first house. But this car is for sale $3,843 a month for 120 months. And the sticker price on this car, $329,998. This is a 1926 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Now you're not going to see too many of these cars out and about. You're definitely not going to see any in this good a condition. A Rolls-Royce, almost 100 years old. Now thanks for joining me, guys, from the Volo Auto Museum. If you guys haven't seen my previous video, please check it out. I probably will do another video here as time goes and as they get new items. But thanks for joining me today, and have a great day.